record this one. Don't worry. So after the event, you may get the access to the recording, and you may rewatch this event anytime you want. So let's start with L4M5, and let's see what we are about to talk today. As I can observe from researching them and also from student feedback, the exam for L4M5 may be quite focusing on the following topics. And I think these ones are also quite challenging as well. The first topic is integrative and distributive approaches. Compare between integrative and distributive one. The second topic is about the role of personal power in negotiation. You can find the part as I remember, in part 1.3 of the study guide. The third topic, and I think many students may find it very hard to study this one since it involves the cost accounting and some advanced calculation. That is a topic on cost analysis. The next topic is on supply, demand, and elasticity of demand. Both topic number 3 and number 4 are from chapter 2. And finally, we have a topic from chapter 3, that is push and pull influencing techniques, where you need to know different tactics and techniques to influence the opinion of the other party. So I would expect that this session would be quite extended. So we will have a short break after topic number 3 about cost analysis. And second, we still, just like with recent event, we still organize the engagement game where you can win the prize from us. Like you may choose either one of these 3 prizes. The first option is you can get the lifetime access to a practice test of choice from our collection. And a good news here, recently on Friday, we just released the practice questions for L4M5 in level 5 about managing ethical procurement. So if you are studying level 5, you can ask us to give you that and also get access to that practice question. It is still on sale, so quick. The sale would be over soon. The second price, potential price, if you have the full set of our practice question right now and you don't want to have that anymore, then you can select either a $15 gift code for Netflix service, and we estimate that this one could give you 1 month free access to Netflix Premium. And or if you don't watch Netflix and you want to have something else, then we have the an option to get the top up for your mobile subscription, okay, which is equivalent about $15. And just like with recent events, to attend to George's game, you just need to answer our question on my screen, as you can see here. And the fastest and most correct answer would get 5 points and further on. So we often recognize the only the first 5 answers. Therefore, you need to be quick and to ensure that you have a stable connection that enables you to connect with us. And of course, the highest scorer will be awarded, but we want to keep these accessible to everyone. Therefore, if any players won any previous game, then we would prioritize the players that never win any game. So we will assess the eligibility of the player as well. Okay, so that's enough for some introduction. That's enough for some introduction. Now, let's. I would like to go into with the first topic about F1 5. That is about, of course, negotiation. Sorry, different approaches to negotiation. Uh, within them, we may see, and within the study guide, we may see this topic to be quite big and also very important, but they are quite straightforward as well. We have two major approaches to negotiation. That is either win-win or win-lose. Win-win-win, then we can call it collaborative or integrative approach. And with win-lose, then we can call it distributed. For each approach, the implication would be quite different. With integrative, the objective here is to satisfy both parties, and we need to find a way that keep both parties satisfied and achieve their objectives. It means that we don't accommodate, we don't need to sacrifice our objective to satisfy them, or they need to give us any concession. But both parties may find some good position, some good solution to satisfy both parties. Okay, therefore, it requires a lot of creativity and study on each other. The parties here need to understand about the other parties' interest and concern, and therefore create the solution that satisfy both of them. Especially, it would require very high level of creativity, and the parties must be very rigorous and careful about the approach here. Therefore, since it is quite difficult, it requires a lot of energy and effort. Therefore, it should only be used with the strategic suppliers only. For distributive approach, then this is the win-lose approach, where one party wins at the other party expenses. Therefore, we only need to care about our interests, and you don't need to care about the other party, as long as you have other option or any partner that may serve you, that may serve your organization. And we don't need to spend much time here. Therefore, our distributive approach could be appropriate for most of suppliers, especially for arm's length or transactional suppliers. With this approach, we may maximize the use of power or maximize the use of some hardball tactic that you may see later in chapter 3 to get the most concession from the other party. And in other words, with integrative, we can call it expand the pie, while with distributive, we can call it like divide the pie, okay, or something like that. All right, so just a small introduction into this one, and now let's try if you know how to solve this question. Okay, so here are some common questions that you may see from the exam, like which of following shows that the supplier is approaching this integratively, or does active listening support integrative, or should the buyer use the tactics or technical ploys to an integrative approach? They are the very common questions that you may see in the exam. Now, let's try one question. For this question, we have the coercive power, and why the coercive power may be discouraged. Why is coercive power is discouraged in the negotiation and with supplier relationship management? Okay, so what is your opinion? So we know about integrative, we know about distributive, and we know that there are some types of personal power within the negotiation, and coercive power is one of them. So what should be the answer for this question? Yeah, I now I can see the answer. So there are some pretty high level division here with some people answer with C. Actually, most people answer with C. Some other answer with B, and some select D. Okay. Answer C, RITs. Sorry, option C, RITs, because it here is coercive power. Coercive power provides unconventional leverage in the negotiation process. Right, and I see that most people select this answer. But whether the majority is already correct. Okay, so I think it's time to review the answer. We don't have much time. So let me close the first question and show you the answer. In my opinion, C is not the best answer. C is not the best answer. And if we analyze the wording carefully, then you may see that it should be D. Why? Okay, let me explain. So you can ignore most of the question here and focus on the final sentence. Why is coercive power discouraged in negotiation and supplier relationship management? Okay, so option A reads that because it secures immediate compliance from supplier. Right, very fair point. But compliance is good, right? We need some compliance from supplier, and they need to perform the contract. That's good. Why? Why should it be discouraged? No. So A is about the advantage. It's about an advantage of coercive power, and luckily no one said this. Option B, because it provides greater advantage to the buyer in the short term. But it says nothing about the long term. So it may provide, we have two cases here. It may provide greater advantage in the short term and also provide greater or slightly greater advantage in the long term. So still some advantage, not really any disadvantage that it should be discouraged. And even if it provides greater advantage in the short term and lower so in the long term, then it depends on the position of the buyer. If they still want to keep this relationship short and disposable, then it's really not any kind of disadvantage. So B is not correct, since it is an advantage of uh, still an advantage of cohesive power. And still, I don't see it mention anything about the long run. So I'm not sure whether it provide any disadvantage in the long run. Option C, because it provides unconventional leverage in the negotiation process. Okay, so sound fair. Unconventional leverage. You know, we have leverage. Leverage means some kind of advantage. And we have another word here, unconventional. What does it mean by unconventional? Let's check the dictionary. What does it mean by unconventional? I would use Oxford Learner Dictionary. All right. So unconventional means not following what is done or considered normal or acceptable by most people, different and interesting. And the synonym is unorthodox. Unorthodox. Or they have some example like an unconventional approach to the problem. All right. Or they even have some extra example. In those days, traveling alone was daring and unconventional thing for young women to do. So the fact that young women traveling alone during that time was very rare, right? But it is not inherently negative. Instead, unconventional here only means that this one is somewhat uh, not in the traditional way, and sometimes it could be innovative or interesting as well. So unconventional leverage, we have the leverage, and it is quite unconventional, not really very negative way, right? Since it could be innovative and interesting as well. Why why should it be discouraged alone by this reason? No. So there is leverage. We should use the leverage, even if it is unconventional. Not really not really a disadvantage. Therefore, the best answer is D. O okay, so O, A, B, and C are about advantages of coercive power. Only with D, it might drive away underperforming suppliers. The supplier can be underperforming due to multiple reasons, like they are focusing on other projects, or there are some um, hurdles or obstacles during contract performance and not from their side. And if we only use coercive power in these cases, then we may drive away potential suppliers that may be developed into very competent one, although they are just temporarily underperforming. Okay, so option D would be the best one, since coercive could be quite damaging to the relationship, and especially when the supplier is underperforming, and sometimes it's not their fault to be underperforming, right? So the best option is D. And congratulations to, let me see. Let me see who wins this time. Right. So I see that we have Mara, Doreen, and Marlon, who answer with D, and congratulations. You get the points for this question. Yeah. Okay, good. Right. So that is the first question and the first part of today's event. Now, let's switch to the second one, the second topic about the cost analysis. I sometimes I receive some messages from students who is complaining about uh, cost and price analysis, and since they are not they don't have any background in accounting, therefore this part is quite challenging to them. But if we break them down, then it should not be any problem. First, we need to understand some basis of price, some basis of price component. Okay, so given any product, then they may be, its price may come with three major parts. First is the variable cost. The variable cost. Variable costs are the costs that change based on the output. The more we produce, the more cost we incur. Second, we have the fixed cost. They are relatively static, and when the output change, they don't change. They stay the same. Uh, Typical fixed costs often include the salary and the equipment and the capital investment. And finally, since any manufacturer or any business may want to get some profit for their operation, therefore they need to add a markup. A markup, the markup here could be called the contribution or could be called the profit. And the markup can be calculated by taking the profit divided by the total cost. Or we have another formula here with the margin. Margin means the proportion between the profit and the unit price for the selling price. So markup and margin describe different proportion, different percentage of the profit compared to the total cost or the profit compared to the unit price. Why you need to know this? Because there would be a question that you need to calculate the markup and margin given some number. So you need to remember the formula. Right, and we can use the formula here to calculate the markup margin. With the costing method, we have majorly three methods: the assumption costing, or the traditional way to do the cost, to do the costing. Sorry, my throat is quite thick. There are three ways to analyze the cost of supplier. The first one is absorption costing or traditional costing, where the analyst here would divide the fixed cost into each unit of production and try a way to allocate all those costs and calculate a fair price of the product. Second way is to use marginal costing, where we only consider the variable cost. And then we add a markup. We add a markup. And we may calculate in the way that the markup would also include the fixed cost and the uh, uh, also the fixed cost and the profit. And with marginal costing, there are risks that if the business cannot sell enough quantity of if they cannot sell sufficient quantity of products, then they may be risking running at a loss and maybe out of business. And finally, with activity-based costing, we may use some simulation software to support the calculation of costing. With activity-based costing, then every activity, every step within a manufacturing process would incur the cost. And then we can try to estimate those costs and add them together to get the best representation of the product price. Okay, so let's go into the details here. First, with absorption costing, then of course we still have the first part, and most of the unit price would consist of the variable direct cost. The variable direct cost that includes the material and direct labor. These one are quite easy to calculate since we still have the accounting book and also the data on the cost. The second part is the allocated fixed cost. The fixed cost here would be calculated in a whole and then divided into each unit. It can be calculated by taking the total fixed cost divided by the estimated production. Sometimes we need to do costing before selling the price, before selling the product. Therefore, the production here tend to be estimated and quite arbitrary. And furthermore, there are some problems with this one. Since, as you know, we may plan to produce these items, and then if we cannot sell them on time, then they should be stored within the warehouse, and that also incurs the cost. Therefore, the total fixed cost here and the calculation of the allocated fixed cost is quite arbitrary, and it's subject to a lot of opinions and decision, and not really not as objective as we expect. And finally, we can add a small markup on the top of the total cost here, both variable costs and the allocated fixed cost. So let me take an example. Suppose that I am a bulk producer where not estimate, but by calculation, I see that my direct material for a bulk is $10 and $2 of direct labor. So it is $12 of direct cost of variable cost. And then according to my accounting book, then I have $100,000 of overhead each month. And I also estimate that I produce 20,000 units per month. Therefore, if we take 100,000 divided by 20,000, we have $5 of allocated overhead cost per unit. And then the total cost would be 12 plus 5 is $15 per bulk. And my margin is only $3. So the selling price would be $20. Right. So this is a simple example about absorption costing. And you see that sometimes with the overhead and with the production, sometimes I must do some estimate. However, there are some other activities that may affect my calculation as well. With marginal costing, we only consider the variable cost and then we add a markup. And if we have the right strategy, if the business has the right strategy, they may sell enough quantity of units to generate a profit. And if a supplier use marginal costing, they may give you some offer, like they may give the discount when you purchase more units. Okay, so that is marginal costing. So let's try with some question here. First question for this part is about the calculation of margin based on the markup. Okay, so for a company, the markup is 25%. And how much is the margin? Right. So far, I only see two answers. Now, more are coming, and most of them are about D. Okay, so most answers are about option D. Most participants select option D. While there are some minor opinions selecting A or B. All right, so let's solve this one and we may move on to the next one. So I would like to close question first. Yeah, and we have the markup. Now we need to calculate the margin, how we can do that. Okay, so the correct answer here first is D, right? 20%. And congratulations to anyone selecting D. So how we can calculate the margin based on the markup? As you know, the markup is equal to profit divided by the total cost, which is as the question suggests, 25% for one or a quarter. 25% is a quarter. So the total cost, as you can see from this math, is equal to 4 times profit. And the price equal to total cost plus profit, or 4 times profit plus 1 time profit. That is 5 times profit. 5 times profit, right? So the margin is equal to profit divided by the price, or 1 time profit divided by 5 times profit. Then it should return a result like 20%, right? 20%. So the margin here is 20%. And again, congratulations to anyone selecting D. Now, let's consider another question about absorption costing. What is the correct answer here? What is the greatest challenge when we do absorption costing? Uh, I need to remove the any drawing on my part. Again, most of answer that I see here are about D, except some very rare occasion where the participant selecting A. All right, so it is quite anonymous here since to be relay also switch. Now I need to close question number 3. And let me review the answer. Of course, the answer here is D. With absorption costing, the greatest challenge is to attribute the fair amount of fixed cost to each unit. It is a very difficult task since there are a lot of different costs, and this practice may fail to capture the semi variable cost, and that may contribute greatly to the production cost as well. Therefore, when compared to other costing method, then option costing is quite arbitrary and not as precise as activity-based costing. All right, so congratulations, and I think you know how to answer about the costing question. Now, let's try another question. Let's try another question, okay, before we have a small break. For this question, I want to ask specifically about marginal costing and the feature of marginal costing. So let's select your best answer here. Okay, for this one, the answer are quite um divided, right? Quite divided. Right. So for this kind of question, I think the hardest part is not really about the knowledge. You already know about marginal costing, but sometimes the wording of the question and the options are quite confusing. Right. So it could be confusing when you read these questions and options at first. But if you do the research if you do the research properly, then the answer should be clear. Now, allow me to review the answer. First, I need to close question number 4. So now your task is to read the option carefully. It is about the feature of marginal costing. And as I already said, marginal costing only use the variable cost and provide a markup. It adds a markup to cover the fixed cost and profit. The answer should be B. I see that pretty many answers, pretty many participants selecting D. If you read it carefully, product costing that includes variable costs as the fair proportion of fixed and a markup. Now, variable cost is a category. It is not any fair proportion. Then you see the word includes variable cost as a fair proportion. No, not correct. Variable costs are just variable costs. They are not fair proportion of anything. Therefore, you need to learn how to read the option and option correctly. Right. So congratulations to anyone answer with B. Okay. So I think now we may have a small break. Okay, and let's have a 10-minute break where I need to take some refreshment and also a new cup of water. Okay, I will show the time. I'll show the time for you to know how much time is left. Right, so we have 10-minute break and I will be coming back. Okay, I come back. But please wait. All right. Let's continue on the lesson. So that is the final part uh, on the marginal costing. Now we may switch to another part of the revision by switching to supply, demand, and the elasticity. Supply and demand are pretty straightforward and simple. Supply curve is an upward curve, while the demand curve is a downward curve. They meet each other at the equilibrium price, which is the uh, fair price or the market price for certain product or service. However, the slope and the movement of supply and demand may subject to multiple factors, and that may affect the price that we experience in purchasing from supplier or on any item that you buy and use every day. So to understand about the slope, about the curve of the supply demand, we have another concept that is equilibrium. Equilibrium. Sorry. Another concept is the elasticity. So elasticity is especially when we talk about elasticity of demand, we talk about the relationship between the quantity demand and the price. If the quantity of demand moves slower than the price, uh, or the demand curve is more upright, then we can call it inelastic. Inelastic. It means that a small change, a big change in the price only induce a small change in the quantity of demand. Or if it is perfectly inelastic, it means that the demand never change regardless of the price. So with elasticity of demand, it explains certain behavior of the economy where certain types of goods and services are so necessary that the demand remain quite stable, while the price may change significantly. And the group here may consist of basic goods like food, water, shelter, and some habitual products like tobacco. With these products, although the price may change, the price may fluctuate like during the shortage reason, during shortage season. We may see a shortage of food, but people still need to buy food to sustain their life. Therefore, the demand change very the change in demand is very small. That kind of product is known as to be inelastic. Why we have more elastic demand where a small change in the price may induce a big change in the quantity. And with elastic, it means that the price changes slightly, but the customer or the consumer may purchase significantly higher quantity of product. And for this one, the example would be the luxury product where if you see some discount on, for example, some brand car, then you may want to purchase more car because car is quite not as essential as the food, but it is nice to have, and everyone wants to have car. Therefore, a small change in the price may induce a bigger change in the quantity of demand. So, understanding this concept would be important if you want to sit L4M5 exam. And let's see what question we may have here. Let's see how you define the elasticity of demand in microeconomics. So I see that most the answer, no, actually all the answers I see so far are all about C. Right. I see that the answer comes pretty quick, and all of them are about C. So I would close this question soon. Close this one soon and switch to the answer. Right. So with elasticity, they have a very firm definition in microeconomy, and of course, the answer is C. And to explain about this, I would like to show you a formula here. Elasticity, note as letter E here, equal to percentage in change of quantity divided by percentage in change of uh, price. Uh, this triangle stands for Greek letter delta, okay, or different. It can be about it is about letter D, right? Letter delta Q on delta P. So it is like the change in quantity demanded divided by the change in the price of that good. Right. So congratulations to all of you, and all the answers here are correct. Now let's see. In chapter 3, what kind of question we may have? In chapter 3, beside the part on different stages during the negotiation, then we have a quite significant part on the influencing techniques within the negotiation. Basically, the study guide showed you there are two basic ways to have to influence the other party. it can be either push or pull. Push is quite direct. It the influencer who uses push doesn't conceal that he's trying to convince the other party. He would look to convince the other party by using a logic or threaten the other party into submission, or use some tactic like take it or leave it or hyperlobo to get what he wants. While with pull, it is more subtle, and the influencer who uses pull technique may try to get the compassion or empathy from the other party, and may use some advanced technique like anchoring to prove his point, and also frame the other party into agreeing with what he says. And I see a question from Malia Mary. Where does persuasion fall? So persuasion is it's like very diverse. It can like talk about the reason, so it is likely to fall under push rather than pull. So push and pull are quite, I don't know why CIPS like this, but it is not very straightforward concept, since you need to imagine about uh, some, okay, some action. So push is more direct, where we need to put our hand on the object. Therefore, with push, as I say, the influencer doesn't conceal his intention, and everyone knows that he's trying to convince the other party. He's trying to persuade the other party. While in pull, the influencer may conceal his intention, and he may instead try to be friend with the other party, and then induce them into the agreement. So push is short term and direct, while pull is long run and more indirect. With push, we may use some hardball tactics. So hardball is another it is another synonym for the tactical ploy or tactics. We may see some very common tactic like good cop, bad cop, or take it or leave it, or snow job, hyperlobo, salami, or bogey. They are the tactics that you may use to gain some advantage during the negotiation. With pull, the techniques here are more subtle. It may involve framing and reframing, or pacing, leading, anchoring, consultation, coalition, ingratiation, and personal appeal. I would like not to. I would not review what these techniques mean, and leave it to you to decide on each question. And let's see how you may solve these questions. Okay, so with push, what would be the uh, push? Push would have which of the following characteristics? So Belile, now I would like to see you answer the question first, and then I can explain them later. And for this question, you need to say A, B, C, or D, not one, two. No, this is the combination A, B, C, D. So it seek the combination between the best one. Okay, so the majority of the answer here are all about A, and there are some other minor answer about B, minor opinion about B. All right, I would like to see more opinions before I review the answer. Right. Now, let me close this question before review the answer. Okay, so I close six. All right. I need to first. I need to apologize, Mary. Okay, so sometimes when it out of context, then it's very hard to decide whether persuasion is push or pull. But we need to put everything in context. If you say that logical persuasion, then I would say that it is absolutely a push technique. But when it put into wider context, especially for this question, where we have four options, and we have exert power, persuasion, secure compliance, secure commitment. Then compliance and the power are more has more characteristic of push, while persuasion could be more pull, like because here we need to select the two best answer. We need to select the two best answer. Therefore, compliance and power tend to be typical characteristics of push. Okay, so since we only have to select two, so it should be B, 1 and 3 only. Okay. So it depends a lot on the context, and with push, it is quite direct and very forceful. Therefore, it is also sometimes confusing. If we have only some simple word like persuasion or something, then you need to read other options as well, not to question like whether persuasion is push or pull. Right. So we need to put everything under the context and not just use a simple word like this. I know this one is uh I know this one is not really that straightforward, and sometimes it is kind of like not very precise science. So it also subject to the opinion as well. Okay, but anyway, then this question is still a potential question in during the exam. Therefore, we need to learn the answer. Okay, so the second question, yeah, about the technique that can be used within pool framework. Okay, what would be what techniques here we may use under pool? Ratification, anchoring, framing and reframing, basing leading, rule ethics, or validation? What is your answer? You need to select three. Right. Let me close this question before review the answer. For this question, I already show that there are some techniques for pull, and we have here anchoring, framing and reframing, and pacing leading. Anchoring means subtly suggests a number as the anchor in the mind of the other party. You can do that by mention it subtly during the conversation or install everything and make everything looks like your target, look like your target in your mind, so that you can install some anchor in the other party mind, and they may suggest that number without conscience. With framing and reframing, it is about um, we describe something in a way that is differently but still correctly about the nature, and we can use that to convince the other party about the necessity of the contract or the necessity of making that concession. And with the pacing leading, it is about be friend with the other party, trying to be like them. And then once you are their friend and they start listening to you, then you may lead them into your opinion and agreement. Now, let's try the final question. You may read the explanations in details in the presentation. Now, let's try the final question. What is this technique? What is the technique? And we have a scenario. All right, so I can see that there is a huge majority here selecting B, right? Coalition. And there are some minor opinion about A, consumption. Right. So it could be confusing at first, but I think it should be clear. And I would like to wait, and then I may review the answer later. Okay, so let's review the answer. This is the final question. Question number 8. Right. With the question, we have Steve and an internal stakeholder, unnamed internal stakeholder. And Steve wants, because they have different opinions, so Steve invites her into the meeting, into the development product development meeting, and this is the consultation technique where you need where you want to hear the opinion from the other party and let them be involved in the decision-making process. That is consultation. That is consultation. With coalition, it means that to convince another party, you need to create your network of alliance. Like instead of convince the internal stakeholder directly, you may form some alliance with other stakeholders, like with the product development team, with the engineering team, with the human resource, with the finance team, and then with your very broad and very wide advocate, then you may try finally to convince the internal stakeholder here. Okay, so coalition is about creating the alliance and to voice collectively, while consultation is to invite the other party into the board and let them know the information, let them decide, and let them understand about our advantages, about our hardship, and so on. Okay, you may read more read more specifically here. Here with coalition, it is about a group of individuals work together. We need to create an alliance and influence the people outside their group. Okay, that is coalition. It's kind of like we need to create a wide range of stakeholders, and then come back to convince the other party. Okay, not the other way around. Now, Jessica, can you summarize the result and let me know who is the winner today? We shall need to enlist the help from Jessica. So as you can see, the result today is pretty close with the after leads and second come with Kabutiti. And I think it is really, really very interesting competition where everyone may be correct or incorrect in different questions. Okay, so anyway, then congratulations to Aftat. You are the one who win today. Aftat, can you unmute and tell me what prize would you like to have?
Yes, I would like to have the test paper.
Yes, for which model?
For all the models.
One of the models, right?
5.
Yeah, L4M5.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So after that, you will receive my free code, my gift code for L4M5 tomorrow. And
Thank you.
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you so
Very
much,
nice game.
Daniel.
Yes, you're welcome. Very nice game. And I hope that everyone will learn some lesson today. That is the greatest benefit from this kind of event. I hope that you are more prepared for the exam. And if you are still looking for some practice question for your upcoming exam, then remember that we still offer the service, and the current code is victory24. Okay, it may give you the best discount for the moment.
Daniel, the code has expired. You can recommend the code Lucky OCT 24.
Yeah, okay, so Lucky OCT, sorry. Lucky
OCT 24.
Okay. All right, so this is the active code that we have at the moment. And if you have any further question for us or any request, please contact us through email or WhatsApp. We are there to reply. But sometimes it may take a while since we have a lot of requests recently, especially when it comes to when it is closer to the exam. And don't worry, you won't get the access to the recording. They're available online, and we will send you tomorrow to your email address. Since that's why we require you to register before organize the event. Okay, so thank you very much for your participation, and I hope that we may meet each other again in the following event. And thank you very much, and see you later. Goodbye.